Hello, welcome to the Nigerian Investor Podcast, TNI for short. This is the unofficial podcast of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. I am your host, Mudiaga, and my co-host, Mr. Ibaemi Aye for short. TNI podcast is dedicated to stimulating a renewed enthusiasm among the general public in Nigeria with regards to investing on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Ultimately, the goal of TNI is to see many young Nigerians from all walks of life, both at home and in the diasporas, actively participating in the activities of the Nigerian stock market. Before we go further, we would like to place on record a disclaimer. TNI podcast is solely for the purpose of education and not a replacement for professional financial advice. Let's begin.
Good day, listeners. Good day, everyone. You're welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Nigerian Investor. And I am your co-host, Sela Ebawanimi Solomon. And I'm here with Moody, my able host. Today, we would like to cover the process of opening a stock brokerage account. Moody, would you have any kind words for our audience?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Sele. Good day, listeners. Welcome once more to another episode. I want to thank you all for your continued support, listening to our podcast, following us on all social media. Like my co-host said, today we're going to be talking about how to open a stock brokerage account. It's a step similar to opening a bank account. There are certain requirements that you must meet for you to be eligible to open a stock brokerage account. And just like a bank account, once you have a stock brokerage account opened, then you can do business with that account. We'll be talking about the process. And once that is done, the next step, we'll also talk about it. Mr. Aye, do you want to open the floor?
All right. The first step you want to take in opening stock brokerage accounts is to go through the list of approved brokers in Nigeria, right? So the best place to get this information is from the Nigeria Stock Exchange website. That's the NGX website. There's an approved list of brokers, and the NGX has gone so far as to even show those that are active and those that are inactive. And Moody, I think we can drop a link to this approved broker list for probably sometime after the show. But this is a very helpful guide so that you can pick the right broker. I know some brokers are far more effective than others. Some brokers also have online trading platforms, so that's also something to keep in mind when researching which broker you want to select. But the first step generally is to find an accredited broker by the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and a broker that is also registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. So that will be the very first step. And once you've selected the right broker, your next step is to get a account opening form from your broker. This form is just basically where you fill in all your details. You provide your name, your address and phone numbers. Just like opening a bank account. It's nothing scary, or they will not ask you for anything crazy like your blood type or anything like that. Am I right, Moody?
Yeah, you're very right. That's no one is going to ask you for all that. But bear in mind that there will be some requirements that you need to provide in terms of document. One of the first documents that they would want you to provide is the form of identification, and there are very many types of identification accepted by the brokerage firms that are issued by the federal government of Nigeria. One of such is international passports. I know not everybody has an international passport, but that shouldn't dissuade you. If you don't have an international passport, you could use a driver's license. If you don't have a driver's license, you could use a voter's card. And if you don't have that, you could use the NIN card. That's the NIN card. Either of these four is good for you to use as a form of identification. The other document that will be required of you is something to show that you are a law-abiding citizen, you pay your bills and all that. and to show that you have a permanent resident address in Nigeria. The most commonest one that they accept is your utility bill, NEPA bill, PHCN, and that bill shouldn't be more than 3 months from the day you want to open the stock brokerage account. Another document that will be required of you to open a stock brokerage account will be a passport photograph of you, just for identification purpose. And they also required of you to have a signature specimen. We call it signature specimen, but it's basically you signing your signature on a white piece of paper and taking a picture of it, and it becomes a document so you can upload it. The reason for this signature specimen is to identify who you are and to distinguish you from any other person that might probably be bearing the same name like you. So that signature specimen is very vital, especially when you invest in companies that pay dividends. Then another document that you need is your bank account. You must have a Nigerian bank account with any of the Nigerian commercial banks. You must provide that. Then you also need to have a phone number. You must have a dedicated phone number. We advise that you should use the phone number that you use in opening your bank account to open your stock brokerage account so that everything will be in alignment. Uh, all right. So, Mr. Aye, is there any other thing I missed out from the requirements?
Well, no, no, to the best of my knowledge, you didn't miss out on any. I think that basically covers all the KYC documents. KYC meaning know your customer documents, and I think you covered it all. And like I said, like you said, it's not difficult. These are just your standard requirements for you to open basically anything here in Nigeria, and it's fairly expected that good number of people should have this documentation. It's not difficult to get these things if you don't have them. And once you've provided all this to your broker, the next step is for your broker to open an account with you, an in-house account with the Central Securities Clearance System, right? So the Central Security Clearance System can be seen as a sort of digital account where all securities that are owned by Nigerians are, housed. So you can think of it like that. And once this account is created, usually the process shouldn't take long. If you're working with a very good broker, and this is why we see it's very important for you to or do a quick research on the kind of broker that you want to open your account with. But if it's a very effective broker, especially those that are using online platforms, you could probably have your account even open in a matter of 24 hours. But once that account is open, the next step is for you to then decide if you're going to trade. And if it's a online brokerage account, you can easily access your account. You'll be given a username and password for you to start trading live. But if you're going to go through your broker, then you might need to fill out a stock purchase form to buy and sell securities online. Now, when you do decide to make this trade online or through your short stockbroker by using the form and all of that, um, it typically takes 3 working days for stocks that you buy to reflect in your account. So that's something to keep in mind when you're trading, right? So in Nigeria, it takes typically 3 working days for a trade to reflect in your account. However, if you are using some online brokerage accounts, this process can be even more seamless and fast. So it's always good to keep all this in mind when you are about to open a stock brokerage account. And I think the process is very, very smooth and very easy. I know they can be a bit challenging for those who are just starting out, figuring out some of this documentation and trying to understand where to get this and where to get that. So I think this basically covers at least the first step in opening your brokerage account. And if you have any questions on some of these documents, I think they can always reach out to us now, right, Muji?
Yes, you can. You can reach out to us and just leave a comment on this episode, or you can send us an email. Our email address is tnipodcaster@gmail.com. Shoot us an email. We'll be very happy to respond to you. On our website too, we have a website where we host our podcast, Buzzsprout. You can follow us there. You can leave a comment there too. And on YouTube, you can leave a comment because we have a YouTube channel. The channel is at TNI Podcaster. You can leave us a message there. We have Twitter handle as well at TNI Podcaster. You can leave us a message, a DM there. We'll be happy to respond to you. We're here to help. Like he said, once the account is open, you fund it. Mind you, each stockbroking firm have their own requirements as well, aside from the basic requirement that we just mentioned. So you have to make your decision on the ones you want to go with and see whatever requirement they have. I know some, once the account is open, they want you to deposit a minimum amount of money to start trading. Like the one I use Mary Stem, and I also use Yochaa, which is affiliated to Cardinal Stone's Securities. For Meristem, as a first-time customer, when you open an account with them, they want you to deposit 10,000 naira. But subsequently, you can deposit any amount of money you have, 100 naira, 50 naira, 1,000, any amount you have after the first 10,000 naira. It's not that the 10,000 naira, they're going to keep it to themselves. No, the 10,000 naira will be available in your account for you to trade, to buy stock and trade and do whatever you want to do with it. But I think they just want to see commitment from you, because probably many people have opened accounts and they don't use the account. I know for sure because I've introduced many people to the stock market. They've gotten to the step of opening the account. They've opened the account, and for years, donkey years now, they've never deposited any money or tried to do anything about it. So you should watch out for that. And I think Yochaa doesn't require you to deposit initial money, Mr. Aye.
No, they don't. That's one of the good things about these modern trading platforms. The process is very seamless and fast, and you can even start trading even with as little as 100 naira. Am I right, Moody?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can start with a very small amount of money. So yeah, it's good that you mentioned this, Moody, because I know some stockbroking firms can have very high initial deposit requirements, even going as high as millions of naira, and that can discourage some people. But it's important to keep in mind that it's not all brokerage firms that have such high requirements, and even those that have these requirements, they tend to do very well. So it's just a question of you deciding what you want and doing quick research to put yourself in the right bracket. It's also easy for you to switch brokers. I mean, if you wanted to open a secondary account with another broker, it's also the same basic steps. Only you just have to keep your CHN number in mind. That's the clearinghouse number. This is a number that will be given to you when you've opened your stock brokerage account, as well as your CSCS account number. So I think you can think of these as your bank account number and your BVN number. So when you open your account and you've been given access, you'll be given a CSCS account number, which is basically like a bank account number, and it is unique to every account. But then we also be giving a CHN number, which is your clearinghouse number. That is like your BVN, right? And if you're to open a secondary brokerage account with another firm, it's always important that you give them that CHN number so that all accounts are linked. Otherwise, they might have to give you a new CHN number, and that just makes the process a lot more cumbersome. So it's always important to keep that in mind. Do you have anything else to add, Mui?
Yes, thank you for comparing the CSCS number and the CHN number to bank account and BVN. Very important. You need to have that. And the reason why we also advise you should use your phone number that is connected to your bank account is that as soon as your stockbroking account is opened, you will get an alert from CSCS telling you that your account has been opened with a specific stockbroking firm. So the one you choose, for instance, you choose Yochaa. Once the account is open, CSCS will send you an alert that you've opened an account with Yochaa to invest in shares. And anytime you buy or you sell a stock, you also get an SMS alert from CSCS. So that is a way of letting you know that you've made a purchase or you've made a sale. It's just like when you deposit money or you withdraw money from your bank account and you receive alert. So that's how it works. So it's very important that you have a phone number that works. So that's one aspect I want to talk about. Then the other aspect I would like to just point out is, my co-host mentioned at the beginning that you have to make your own research on the types of stock brokerage firm that you need to open account with. Just to let you know, the stock brokerage firms in Nigeria, they are regulated by this Nigerian Stock Exchange. We've talked about the stock market itself, the NGA. So this episode is talking about the stock brokerage firm. The next episode will be talking about the registrar. We'll talk about the SEC too, what they do, and we'll also talk about the CSCS and see also understand what they do as far as the stock market in Nigeria is concerned. So once you've met all these requirements, you should be ready to trade. But what I want to ship in here is that they on the website of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the website is www.ngxgroup.com. If you go to the website, you will see under list, you will see the list of active and inactive stock brokerage firm, like Mr. Aye said earlier on. And if you open that page, it gives you the weekly activity of this stock brokerage firm, how they perform. The NGS has a list that they release every Friday about the top 10 performing stock brokerage firm for that week. I will quickly go through the top 10 with you guys, but you can go to the website and see it for yourself and go through it on a weekly basis. So top 10 by volume. We have GTI Securities Limited. That's number one. Number two is Quadros Security Limited. Number three is Kari Security Limited. Then number four is Cardinal Stone. Cardinal Stone is associated with Yochaa. Yochaa is a very great app where new investors can learn from the experienced investors that are there. It's a free site. It's a free app. You download Yochaa from either Google Store or Apple Store, and you can use it to register your account, to open your stock brokerage account. Even before you open the account, you will see we have a lounge there where we share information about the stock market. You can ask any question. Mr. Aye is one of the best resource there that will be willing to give you information about any question that you have to ask there. We're recommending it because it's a great resource and it's something that you will really appreciate if you do. Yochaa is spelled as YOCHAA. YOCHAA. Just type it in your Google Store or your Apple iOS and it will pop up, and just download, register, and you see all the information. They even cover the United States stock market as well, not just the Nigeria stock market. So there are a lot of resources that you get there. So that's one. Then because of time, I wouldn't be able to go through the top 10 by volume and top 10 by value. But if you go to the website, you see it there. So for you to decide which stock brokerage firm to use. But we recommend Yochaa for you because it has a lot of resources. One, you have the app to trade online anywhere in the world. Two, there is a lounge where you can ask questions, and there are experienced people there. Even people that don't even use Yochaa to buy and sell stock, they are there to answer your question. There are a lot of experts there that are willing to teach you, give you information, respond to your questions, and you'll be glad you did. You can use it as a learning base too. So we recommend that highly for you. Thank you. On this note, we've come to the conclusion of this episode. Thank you for taking our time to listen to this episode. We would encourage you to subscribe to our podcast so that you can get fresh weekly episodes as soon as they are released. We would also encourage you to follow us on all our social media handles, which can be found in the show notes. Until next time, thank you and have a nice one. TNI Podcast is a production of Rock Quarry Village. Producer Ayiwa Ini Sele. Executive Producer Mudiaga Akpoto. Social Media Handler and Manager Chelsea Akpoto. Artwork and Design was done by Rona Utwedo. This episode was mastered and edited by Rona Utwedo at Rock Quarry Village Studio, Duluth, Georgia.